Hello and welcome to Game 7. It is the Yops, the Diamondbacks are a wagon, and somehow here we are on the precipice of one game deciding if the Arizona Diamondbacks go to the 2023 World Series to take on the Texas Rangers. Wow. Is this real life? Is this a fantasy, Patrick? I'm still Hoodie Derek right now. By the way, I am Hoodie Derek, occasionally known as the mayor of the postseason, mayor of the Yoffs, and mayor of PHNX. This man next to me is my hot tag, and I mean that in more ways than one. It's the one and only Patty Plantains, Patrick Lyons. Patrick, huge day. Huge day.
We out here.
We
Game
outside.
7. Who would have thought
Not
that
me.
when this postseason started,
Not us.
little team in the desert, in the valley,
We never doubted them for a second.
they backed their way in. They didn't moonwalk into the postseason.
They
They
did
just backed into it. They fell backwards and they said, all right, well, there's a body here amongst the final 6 teams in the National League. We might as well take it and carry it to the first round. And then that body resurrected, took down the Brewers, took down the Dodgers, did not give up. And in fact, they've won 3 of the last 4 games against the Philadelphia Phillies. Do we forget that? 3 of the last
sure as
4
hell did
games.
not forget
They are
that
3-1.
Yeah.
3-1 against the Philadelphia Phillies.
I think
last
Garrett
week.
Stubbs forgot, maybe, perhaps, but
We got a lot. We got to talk about a couple of people who forgot at
there
some
are a
point in
lot
the
of
show.
people who forgot. There's some receipts to be addressed, but of course, we do have to talk about the fact that the Philadelphia Phillies, who have been playing baseball for 900 years, close to 900 years, are playing in their first Game 7 in franchise history.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's absurd. I don't know what to say to that.
141 years.
141 years.
Before 1980, they almost never got into the postseason. They were kind of like the lovable losers. I don't. They weren't very lovable, to be honest, but they maybe were just more losers. They didn't have a lot of success for a while. They even rebranded as the Philadelphia Blue Jays for 2 years because they were really searching for themselves. But after 1980, things got a little bit better. And they're hoping to win today and go to their second consecutive back-to-back World Series. They did in 2008, 2009. But the Diamondbacks don't really care about that kind of history.
Absolutely not. We do not care one bit in this house. In this house, what we care about is that the Arizona Diamondbacks are playing in their second Game 7 here in the NLCS in their franchise history.
Did the first one mean anything?
I believe it did. Jacob. And I got a side note for you on that in case you are interested in history and things lining up and fate, if you will. If they do the thing, and I'm not going to say the thing that they might do, but if they do the thing,
okay,
the World Series dates, oddly enough, line up with the exact same dates of the 2001 World Series.
That is crazy.
And when we're talking about that, we are saying that the likelihood of that is very, very unlikely because at that time it was delayed due to the tragedy known as 9/11, and the baseball season was temporarily put on hold, and there were, making up dates. Espo and I were talking about how during the Halloween game, they made the infamous call of something about like welcome to baseball in November when the shot of the moon, talking about this was the first time that we had MLB postseason play in November.
That's where Derek Jeter got
Mr. November
nickname that no one really uses. It's just like there it exists. You say Mr. October, you go, okay.
You gotta win the thing in order to keep
we know Reggie Jackson's Mr. October. I mean, shoot, Bad Bunny just referenced him on his most recent album as Mr. October, Reggie Jackson. But yeah, Mr. November is Derek Jeter. But we'll see what happens here going forward. If the Diamondbacks can win, maybe someone else. Gabby Moreno is the new Mr. November 2.0.
He's already Mr. Diamondback. Sean, Mr. Electric, who hands out the Mr. nicknames. He also hands out the international sex symbol list, which we will address later because Damon, who is the keeper of the list, is not here right now. We have the one and only Father Overlord Jacob, who we are tremendously thrilled to be joined by, because if there's anybody that gets amped up about this team, in this office. It's this man, Jacob, and we are appreciative of you being here. What are your thoughts on this run? I mean, I know we haven't had a chance to talk to you much, but
it's not clinch time, it's clench time, Derek.
It is clench time.
Yeah, I've been clenched all day.
This path has been odd, right? Because we have gone in a direction where, even during this very series, I want to say that we were just like, hey, look at us. Look how proud we should be of what we've done. And now here we are in a position to actually advance to the World Series. And it doesn't feel like that, hey, we're happy to be here time anymore. It feels like, let's go win the goddamn thing. Let's win the whole goddamn thing.
At the beginning of when they were in Milwaukee, it was like, oh, we're playing with house money, right? Like you kind of snuck in, and it was like, cool, you made it in.
Yeah,
that's more of an expectation than people had for you coming into the year. I mean, the over/under was set at what 74.5, something like that, 73.5,
74, yeah, right,
which
around
is pretty
there.
brutal. I mean, they won 74 games last year,
They
and they
deserve
anticipated
more respect than that because they were a better team this year than they were last year. But there's a lot of talk about their 84 wins and if they even deserve to be here.
They were playing with house money, right?
Yeah.
But I talked to Damon about this because at the beginning of the playoffs, I was like, if they lose, like it's house money, like it's not going to hurt me all that much. And then all of a sudden, Game 6 rolls around, and I'm like, I looked at Damon and I said, I lied.
Yeah,
so this is going to hurt.
Well, no, using your analogy, you have a pile of chips in front of you.
Yeah.
You have a lot invested in this now. And you're like, yeah, but it's their money.
Yeah.
No, it's your money right now.
Yeah.
It's your heart and soul.
Yeah.
There is a lot on the line now.
Right.
All of a sudden.
It's more like a tournament, if you will, because you have to make it to the end to get that pile of money. Right. You can't, you're not just being, like a degenerate gambler by losing all of this pile of money that you now have that is from the casino.
Ernesto says it the best. You might as well just fucking win it.
Might as well fucking win it. Let's go. You and I both owe more money. And Ernesto, you owe some money to the swear jar now, too.
Everyone in the chat right now on the PHNX sports channel on YouTube is a degenerate Diamondbacks fan.
Oh, we absolutely all are.
Because that's it. All the chips are in the center of the table. It's all or nothing.
Degenerates is what we are. We are degenerates.
Degenerate diehards. That's what it's all about right now.
Let's go. Well, there's another prize on the line aside from potentially a trip to the World Series against the Texas Rangers.
Okay.
And what is that prize? Retiring Mad Dog Russo. I don't give a shit if he walked it back. Let's hear that clip because words mean something in this business. I for one, know that.
To make a long story short, I've been wrong in Arizona from day one. I'm stunned to beat Milwaukee. I thought they'd get swept by the Dodgers. I never thought they'd even go back to Philly for a Game 6. I'll try it one more time. I would not be stunned if they won tonight. I would be floored. And I'll say this right now. I'll say this right now. And Bob Raceman, write it down. If they win the next 2 days, they win the next 2 games, and win this series in 7 games, if they win, I will retire on the spot.
You might have gone on to say other words after that, but who cares about that? We're stopping the clip right there.
Mad Dog. Wow.
You might have backed yourself into up against the wall into a corner a little bit there, because Tori, of course, heard this comment, and
he's keeping receipts. We know that.
Tori has a little extra motivation tonight. Let's hear what Tori had to say.
I laugh at it. I was telling the group of guys the things that make me mad you would never even imagine. That type of stuff is kind of entertaining to me because I know that Mad Dog has a show and he's got to do his thing. But I would love to see him quit if we won today. You know what I mean? But there's nothing better than a wise guy New Yorker saying something and then having to chomp on those words. So that's how I'm processing it, and it'll be great. He's a friend of mine. I love Mad Dog. And I know that he's going to end up hearing this, and I didn't want to really get into this, but I did. And we have a little thing going on about it, and I think you just internally use it as motivation. You have a sense of pride when you play this game. Like, you want to do your job to the best of your ability, and you want to help your team win a game. I want to manage these players the best way to help us have the best outcome. I am extremely motivated at the end of the day on my own. But when you can prove some people wrong, and we all walk around with chips on our shoulder, and I guarantee everybody in this room has been told by somebody that they couldn't do something, and it led you down this road to be great. So I know that there's an underwriting theme here that we, A, don't deserve to be here, B, that we're going to get our butts kicked, and see there's bullies all over the map, all over the National League that can manhandle us. It really excites me to know that we're playing in Game 7 and we're right on the verge of doing something that's unbelievable, and we love proving naysayers wrong.
Torrey's just such a great guy.
He's friends with everybody.
He's friends with everybody, and of course, he has fun with it. But I think the thing about Torrey is that he knows how to use all of this stuff as the proper motivation.
Right.
He talked about the players having a chip on their shoulder after Garrett Stubbs' comments about having the party in the pool at Chase Field. And I mean, again, it is what it is. But at times, baseball, you're up in your head too much, right? So if you can give somebody else something else to think about, some other motivation that takes their mind off of, holy crap, this is Game 7 of the NLCS and this a bat I'm in right now is huge. Instead, if there's a little bit of, you know what, fuck Mad Dog in there while you're at the dish, maybe that's, something that's going to help you succeed. This coaching staff knows how to motivate guys. And if there's something that has been said about Torrey time and time again, it's the fact that he is a player's coach and he knows how to get the most out of these, the guys.
If anyone is going to have that, oh my God, it's Game 7 feeling in their head, it's going to be Brandon Pfaadt. And if anyone is going to coach him out of that, to snap that and say,
yeah,
this is one game, do what you did last time, maybe only even do it one time through the order. It doesn't matter. It's Torey Lovullo and his coaching staff. The pressure is on the Phillies. Yeah. Like, yes, the Diamondbacks want to win this game, but they also know there's no real expectations. They to stick with the analogy, they are playing with house money. And it really is like, look, let's just go out there and play a game. Like, we are lucky. We are blessed to have this opportunity. We are all connected. We've all given this gift to each other, playing meaningful baseball in October. Everyone else is at home. They are watching us. Yeah. And we might as well go out there and just do the damn thing.
Well, he brought up that exact topic of being underestimated due to this team being an 84-win team during the regular season. He brought up that the St. Louis Cardinals back in 06, I believe, were like an 83, 84 win team season. It didn't really matter. It just, we're
showing feet. Go ahead.
No, Patrick, I told you about this.
I'm so thankful I don't have 3 cameras.
I told you keep that for the Patty Plantains only fans. You're giving it away for free, pal. I mean, I know it's a preview, but I'm just,
onlyfeet.com.
We're not going to link it. We're not going to link it. But I just wanted to say that, does anyone care? Do you care? Does anyone care that a team had a 82-win season, 81-win season? I mean, if they are here in the playoffs, and especially if they're beating the higher seeds that they are, set to face, what is the problem here, right? Like in basketball and hockey, we have the 8th seed playing the 1 seed, and nobody talks about how many wins that team got there to be the 8th seed. They just, if they could pull off the improbable upset of that 1 seed, then that's proving something. And I think a lot of people instantly, start, that discussion about how many wins they won during the regular season goes away. This Diamondbacks team is here and they're doing it. So I don't see the reason why how many games they won matters.
Yeah.
People forget that this team was 41-25. 16 games over 500 at one point.
Yes.
They were capable of doing that for the entire year. They hit a wall.
Yeah.
They're one of the youngest teams in baseball. Like, it was bound to happen. Now, the people that are saying, well, they only won 84 games, it's like, yeah, sure, that's fine. But they also, at one point in the season, looked like quite possibly a top 5 team in baseball.
Yeah.
So, like, to discredit what they did, like, them's the rules. They got in.
That's
right.
The way
them's the rules. They got in, and now they deserve
Yeah.
just as much of a shot as anybody else does.
It's one excuse after another. It's layoffs. It's this. I mean, we even said it at one point that the Diamondbacks didn't look great after their short but still significant layoff, more significant than they've had since the All-Star break when they were, before they started this NLCS. But they got things back on track and they're heated back up. Those bats are hot. We're talking a lot about, obviously the bullpen and all the contributions, but the biggest contribution is tonight from Big Game Brandon Pfaadt on the mound facing off against Ranger Suarez in the biggest game of his career. It's the biggest game, I think, of all of these guys' careers. Almost with the exception of Evan Longoria and Tommy Pham, maybe. The majority of these guys have all these. This is the biggest game they've ever played in,
and biggest game in franchise history since 2001. It's huge. Again, we've talked about it many times. Like, hey, is this the biggest game. What did I say?
The comments have gone off the rails, and we're not acknowledging it. We want to acknowledge it. I want to acknowledge it. We'll save it for the feet. I got a bottle of champagne that's going in that bat later. Should the things happen, but
9 innings away from the D-backs going to the World Series, 27 outs. And that's what it's going to come down to. It's going down to this. And again, we know the Phillies, they've got the superstar players. And sure, if the Phillies go to the World Series, Harper has a big game. Nick Castellanos has some name brand recognition. Kyle Schwarber. Okay, they might be the sexier pick. And so maybe there's slightly better clicks. But honestly, I don't know that there's going to be that big of a sort of predicted or projected drop-off for the Diamondbacks. It's baseball.
Yeah.
It's still some really great young players that I think people are going to really enjoy watching for the first time because Diamondbacks games are on so late that the East Coast, they don't really pay attention to them at all. And again, a lot of these guys, they're just at the beginning points of their career. So these are players that, we might be looking forward in a couple years from now, like, hey, remember when America got used to the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2023? Well, now this is their third time in 4 seasons going to the NLCS, or this is their 5th time in 6 seasons going to the postseason. That's really what you could possibly have here with all of these 23-year-olds, all of these rookies that are contributing. And Brandon Pfaadt, man, he's top of the heap right now.
It's going to be crazy to see how Brandon Pfaadt approaches this lineup tonight after his success the last time he played them. 17 whiffs Brandon Pfaadt got in his last outing against the Philadelphia Phillies here in Game 3 of the NLCS. He used that fastball quite a bit, but he did get a lot of whiffs on his sweeper, on his sinker as well, but 9 whiffs on the 4-seam fastball. Yeah. So he was really he was really doing work with it. I think a big part of it was after the first 2 games, the Phillies were very aggressive still. We've seen them kind of change their approach a bit at the plate. They changed it in game 6 against Merrill Kelly. Mm-hmm. So it'll be because it really did feel like one of the ways that he was able to get that many swings and misses on his stuff in that outing was the aggression of the Phillies hitters. I think they will be approaching him much differently tonight after what he did in Game 3.
And how much better do you feel about that decision to lift Brandon Pfaadt when he did? Feeling better about the fact that Schwarber, Turner, Real Muto, Bryce Harper, all of those guys did not see Brandon Pfaadt 3 times. They only saw him twice. Yeah, that is the chess match that Torey Lovullo has been playing this entire series. And that's just so critical in this game of inches where, just seeing a guy having a little bit more familiarity, which we know the Phillies lineup didn't have. And so Brandon Pfaadt's going to go out there and he's going to put up a hard-fought battle, as we know. And that's what it's coming down to now. Yeah. That's what it's coming down to, Ranger Suarez and Brandon Pfaadt in Game 7 of the NLCS.
Well, let's take a look at that pitching comparison between these two guys because, again, Ranger Suarez was also very good against the Diamondbacks in his start in Game 3 as well. Did not give up a lot. Remember, that was the game that the Diamondbacks won by a score of 2-1. Ranger Suarez, he had 9 swings and misses himself. So, I mean, this was an impressive outing. He was getting that work done with the changeup mostly. And his sinker. And I mean, again, the Diamondbacks at times have really struggled with the off-speed stuff. So it would be great to see them continue the early runs. I mean, they pulled out the boomsticks in the last game, and I mean, we weren't expecting that output of power, those back-to-back jacks from Tommy Pham and Lourdes Gurriel. But the Diamondbacks, definitely a big key tonight is to try to give Brandon Pfaadt something to work with, because it feels like if he does, his confidence can grow, and we could potentially see another outing like we saw there in Game 3.
I'm curious, and I think a lot of it will have to do with Brandon Pfaadt's performance tonight. But do you think if the Diamondbacks win and Pfaadt is at least serviceable, he could potentially be the NLCS MVP?
I could see
absolutely.
I could absolutely see that.
I think he's in there along with Marte.
I think Marte's, obviously his historic streak to start his career essentially in the postseason that's still active is impressive. Yeah. But it's hard.
Unsung hero would be Alec.
It's Alec too,
because he kind of he tied the game. He tied Game 4,
and he's not in the starting lineup tonight. But if he comes in the clutch, he'll
be the first guy in. Like, my guess is as soon as Suarez gets pulled, Alec comes in.
And another dark horse for NLCS MVP. We'll see what happens with Paul Sewald. Could he throw a fourth
jump around
shutout inning? He only has 1 save according to the books, but still, Paul Sewald, I think, could be a dark horse. So, like, there's a couple candidates right now on the Diamondback side if they win.
If they win tonight. And that's a big if, because it is so difficult to play in that environment We are so thrilled with the way that they played last night. But as much as, last night felt like, celebration, especially with this guy chugging beers out of the beer bat, there's still more work to be done. And it is tonight, and it is going to be just as difficult winning 2 in a row in a place that is almost impossible to win in during the postseason. Again, they have their work cut out for them. After the way Brandon Pfaadt has pitched in his last 2 outings, though, and the history that he's made, I feel very good about him being out there, much better than if you would have told me this at the beginning of the postseason that, oh, yeah, by the way, your Snakes are going to make it to the NLCS, and Game 7 is going to come down to Brandon Pfaadt starting for you. I wouldn't have felt great about that. But
maybe if Brent Strom had called you at home during the All-Star break and said, hey, this is crazy, but trust us, Brandon Pfaadt,
that would have been different.
Then you would be like, that's cool, but you never got that call.
I would have needed to see all of the schematics because I would have needed Stromy to prove to me that pitching from the other side of the rubber was indeed going to hide his arm angle better, but it makes sense. Shout out to Chili Boots, our Minnesota Twins fan. Dropped us a super chat. Thank you so much for being here. He's a Twins fan here for the chaos. We welcome you to the chaos. I'm not sure if you're aware, but this team is a wagon, and there is plenty of room on
There's
this
170 people here and only 29 likes.
Let's go.
I see a pretty big disparity there.
There is a lack of likes because, of course, welcome into the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, do so now. Even if you are a Twins fan, doesn't matter what fan base you come from. We welcome you here, no matter what laundry you wear. Make sure to sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss when any of our shows go live. Leave us a little thumbs up. That like, very important to us. As Gabby would say here, drop us a like. Let's get Gabby popping in. Can we get Gabby popping in? Is Gabby available?
He's getting ready for the game. He's getting ready for the game.
Jacob, get Gabby over here. Gabby drops a like. All right.
2 thumbs. Let me say this, and let me say this about Brandon Pfaadt's start.
Oh, please do.
He doesn't even necessarily need to go out there and shove. You would like it for it to happen, but we saw it in Game 4. The bullpen was capable of suppressing some runs. So if Pfaadt doesn't have it early, it is not the end of the world. Don't go standing out on a ledge with the game over your shoulder. Be patient. They can still hold down the fort.
We do also have Zach Gallen in the bullpen, according to Zach Gallen and Torey Lobolo, which I don't love.
Merrill Kelly said he's available even.
I'm available out of the bullpen, you guys. I will drive to Philadelphia right now.
If it was up to Merrill, he would have had 10 or 11 more pitches in last night's game.
Oh, he would have had 70 more pitches if it was up to Merrill.
But Zach Gallen legitimately can be used. This would be a bullpen day for him to throw.
No.
Hey, might as well.
No. Stop it.
You wouldn't want to see Zach Gallen?
Absolutely not. No, because their goddamn roles are figured out, Patrick. We know who we want to see late in the game. I don't want to see anybody but those 4 guys.
But what if Pfaadt is out by the second inning?
No. Well,
you don't want to see Gallen in the second, maybe?
All right.
I really don't want to see Ryan Nelson.
Yeah, that's probably fair. We'll see what happens.
Ryan Nelson taking strays.
Let's not put that bad magic out there. Let's not put that.
The road Ryan is a stud.
Yeah, that's true. Well, get the shirt of an official wagon, like I said earlier. Also, we have a shirt of a dangerous team. Grab all of those at the phnxlocker.com. Of course, if you are not a diehard member, you can get a diehard membership. You'll get that shirt for free as part of your diehard sign-up package. You also get all sorts of wonderful benefits, including Jesse's newsletter that is his mailbag, his monthly mailbag. You get access to our Discord lounge. You get access to everything we have to offer and so much more. So make sure to join us today. And also, you'll get 20% off all future purchases at the phnxlocker.com and all sorts of discounts with our partners. So sign up today and join us here. Speaking of this team, by the way, the Phillies, they're giving us a little bit of extra motivation. Just a little bit. Yeah. Because they showed up today in some of the most infuriating gear that I could imagine showing up against a Phoenix-based team in the playoffs. This is a vintage Michael Jordan jersey on the left.
We assume it's vintage. Who knows? Could just be bootleg.
And a Patrick Beverly jersey, which I don't respect one bit. And Bryce Harper, this son of a bitch, knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing by wearing this.
But Pat Bev never won a championship with the Sixers, though. So
I don't care. It's just
but Pat Bev's been a pest to Phoenix.
Yeah, we hate him here.
True.
I hate it.
And then Michael Jordan, just because he's Michael Jordan. Just because he makes good sneakers.
Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
But you wear a jersey of a minor league baseball player? I don't get that.
I want to be mad about the NBA championship we lost, but I'm more mad about the time that he told on Eddie Johnson to Cotton Fitzsimmons about them staying up late and gambling together. That was a low move. That was a low move. But anyway, watch that show with Saul, by the way. This is an incredible show with Saul and Eddie, and I love it every single time. But let's take a look at the updated playoff bracket because, again, here we are. We got a date. No playoff bracket. Oh, I apologize. Got a date with the Texas Rangers. Texas Rangers potentially
Friday.
here
They're
on
home.
the line.
No matter what happens, I believe.
Yep, and like I said, those dates do line up with that magical World Series from 2001 somehow, some way. But the Diamondbacks, they've been hitting some dingers there, and they do have 7 players who have 2 or more home runs this postseason. Obviously, the Phillies get a lot of credit for what they've done, and rightfully so. But Alec Thomas, 4 home runs, Gabriel Moreno, 3, Tommy Pham, 2, Lourdes, 2, Cattell, 2, Perdomo, 2, Corbin Carroll, 2.
Damn.
So a lot of, again, this is why at times giving out that king snake can be a little difficult because this team is getting kind of a well-rounded performance, if you could say. I guess looking at it
is
positively on the negative side, aside from Cattell, nobody's super consistent, and you get your kind of nightly hero from this team at times, but it's like Alec Thomas's home run. It's welcomed, and at times these guys step up to the plate and are absolutely huge for this team, even when they've been struggling.
I heard a stat that from the guys on Cespedes Family Barbecue that Corbin Carroll, when he scored a run last night, that was like his first time in like 6 games in the postseason, and that he had never had a drought like that during the regular season.
That's wild.
Some of that has to do with him maybe not getting on base and definitely not being chaotic on the base paths.
Sure.
And the guys behind him, Moreno has done a good job of driving the ball with runners on base. Marte, Soso, and then Christian Walker definitely needs to show up tonight, I think, in a big way. The Norristown, PA native, doing it to the Phillies fans, I think, in a big way. This is going to be a game about clutch. Who's going to be more clutch in those clutch spots?
Yeah. Well, speaking of clutch, I'm doing it again. And I know if Bronson was here, he would be furious with my bet tonight on this game. But let's take a look at it. We went with a 5-legger this time. Phillies win. Batter struck out. Ranger Suarez 1+. Kyle Schwarber home runs 1+. Cattell Marte 1+ hits because, of course, I got to get that in there. And Ranger Suarez 1+ walk. Why not? I'm doing it again to them, and I don't care. My $5 is absolutely worth watching the Diamondbacks win this game tonight. But you should maybe use your opportunity to bet. And maybe a little different. He calls me Sonic the Hedgehog. It's because I hedge my bets emotionally.
It is.
I say it's because I know exactly what I'm doing. I might be a madman. I might be a genius. I don't know. But I'll tell you this much. If the Diamondbacks continue to win, because I plug bets like that, I will not stop. You cannot stop me. I will not be stopped. But again, get down on the BetMGM app. If you're a new user, use our code of PHNX and get yourself some free money. But super chat from our guy Joe. Thank you so much, Joe. He says, "Pham with the throat slash at Harper when he rounds the bases. That would be epic."
Ooh.
Oh, let's make.
Can you bet on that? Actually,
I would love to take those kind of bets. I would love to take whatever kind of like.
What if like a home run and a blowout? Alec Thomas. I mean, he might not be the guy, but we'll say no. Cattell Marte would be the guy.
Bat flip rotations or
no? He crosses home plate and he holds up like 7 fingers, like Harper on his 31st birthday.
Yeah,
blew out the candles. If he blows out the number 7,
oh my god!
Ooh,
just
that would be cold.
We're just spitballing
that would
ideas
be a cold.
here.
That'd be a cold one.
Well, it's time. Baseball is about to be on. We got about 7 minutes here to the first pitch, so we are very excited. We are very nervous. Like Jacob said, we're very clenched here. I'm ready. Like our man CWP said, this is like a retirement match between Mad Dog Russo and Greg Schulte. Whoever wins, whoever loses, the other one gets to go on in the playoffs. But we appreciate you guys, of course, for being here so much. You guys are the absolute best. We will be back here 10 minutes after the final out, win or lose. Regardless, we will be back here to celebrate this team here after this Game 7 that they play in Philadelphia. In the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter. I am at @cap_caveman with a K. This maniac next to me is at Patrick D. Lyons. Jacob is at Jacob_Franklin4 because he's the 4th best Jacob Franklin. Of course, our show is at PHNX D-backs, but all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports. Oh, man, here we go, you guys. Can't wait to watch this game and to be back here to discuss what happens with you 10 minutes after the final out. In the meantime, we appreciate your time. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you get to celebrate by drinking champagne out of a beer bat. Let's go.
We all silly like the mayor.